My name's Dan, I play guitar and sing in the Velveteen Orkestra. I grew up with my brothers and my dad playing in bands, playing records all the time, watching live performances on TV, so it was always a big part of my growing up and existence. It seemed quite a natural thing for me to want to be in a band or do something with music. It just seemed like the sort of thing you did. It was only when I got older that I realised other people didn't want to be in a band. My first ever gig was at a school concert when I was 11 or 12. We got a band together off the back of an English class presentation that I'd given on 70s music. At the end of my presentation I sung a Black Sabbath song, and someone in my class said, "I play guitar, do you fancy starting a band?" So we did. We rehearsed over those summer holidays, and then the first school concert of the following year we did a cover of Stuck in the Middle with You. I remember his guitar falling off its strap before we actually started playing, and him struggling to get it back on, and little titters of laughter in the background. I made a joke about it in the microphone, just saying, just a few minor technical hitches, guys, and the whole place like roared with laughter. And in my head something clicked. I thought, oh yeah, I like this. My brothers playing Radiohead a lot when I was growing up. My brothers and my dad were big into like the 60s mod sort of scene, so I was always hearing the Small Faces and the Kinks and Beatles and the Who. One big moment for me was when I discovered the Smiths. I was doing something, I wasn't really paying attention. I always had like MTV2 or something on in the background, and I remember hearing this record come on, and I looked around to see, and it was Morrissey's new single at the time, which was called You Have Killed Me. And I loved the tune, so I went out and bought that album, Ringleader of the Tormentors, and from that I just searched and found all this back catalogue and discovered the Smiths. That sort of felt like mine. As accurate as I can describe our sound is that it's a mass of juxtapositions. We use orchestral instruments, but we present our songs in a dark and sometimes brutal and visceral way. When people ask me what do you sound like, I often just say a cross between Jeff Buckley and Radiohead mixed with Tom Waits and Nick Cave. There's bits of folk, there's bits of rockabilly, there's bits of 60s psychedelia, and also I suppose sort of alternative indie rock and roll as well. I think there was a time when I was making people describe it as folk noir, to make it sound a bit poncy. The idea is that it's like a chamber music orchestra but risen up from the street, so the sound is and the lyrical content is both elegant but roughshod and nasty. It's regal but visceral. Velveteen is a material used for clothing or furnishing and whatnot. It's very, very cheap, but it's made to look like something very, very expensive. We're all quite poor, penniless poets and musicians, but we're presenting our music in quite a more sort of elegant format with the string section and my sort of operatic vocal range. I think our band has sort of been pieced together bit by bit. We didn't all form all together at once. Alan, who plays the accordion and piano, sort of joined through us needing someone in the studio to play the accordion on an EP. Nick, our drummer, played in a function band with Lindsay. Some of the band have been with the band for years and years. Lindsay, who plays the double bass, and Sarah, the violinist, have been playing with me for the best part of a decade, if not more. Initially I think the band was sort of more of a singer-songwriter with a band on top, and I never really felt comfortable with that. I didn't like the idea of being thought of as a solo artist. I feel like I'd rather be a fascist dictator than a singer-songwriter. Our debut album is called Shadow and Whimsy. The underlining theme throughout the album, a lot of the songs sort of deal with striking that balance or struggling with getting that balance between happiness and sadness. Shadow and whimsy. Comedy and tragedy are two sides of the same coin. Some of the songs sort of deal with both embracing and hating the darker side of the mind, and sometimes feeling as though you owe something to it. Pound of Flesh is probably one of the strongest songs I've ever written. I'm really proud of that. The prospect of playing shows and touring, possibly it would be amazing. Touring with a band, which I've never done. I've only ever toured on my own. That would be great. That'd be ideal. But just playing gigs that aren't in my bedroom is good for now.
Where can people go to support you?
Well, they can come to my house to sleep with me. That would be a big help. We run a Patreon where fans are paying a monthly subscription and they're getting content and live streams, and they get a discount in the merch store and stuff like that. We have a Bandcamp page where we sell t-shirts, other merch and stuff like that, and plenty of free ways to support us. Just spreading the word, letting people know about us, enjoying the music, following us on social media. That is always a help as well. It's nice to be able to communicate with people and get through to them above all the cacophony of shit that we have to wade through.